Casey Anthony. She walked out of a Florida jail just after midnight this morning. She is now a free woman after being acquitted of murdering her 2-year-old daughter. ABC's Jim Avila is at the jail in Orlando, and Jim, described that scene overnight. It looked very chaotic.
Well, it was a lot of chaos on the outside, and as there is right now, as you hear, some of the protesters are still here. This morning, what happened was it was just after midnight. Casey Anthony came out of the blue jail doors, walked through a hallway with her attorney by her side. She made no expressions that anybody could see. She looked down, looked to the side, whispered a thank you to one of the guards who was protecting her. Then she went outside where she could not avoid the huge protest that was out there, probably between 100 and 200 people with signs, some of them yelling "baby killer" to her. But she quickly went into that SUV and sped off. And then from there, she was followed by helicopters who did see her go into the building downtown where one of her attorneys works. And then they believe she left in a different car and went to the small private airport here. And the sources here tell our local station in Orlando that she boarded a single-engine prop plane for somewhere points unknown.
You can't help but notice all of that security, Jim. There are real fears that she'll not be able to cash in on her story now that she's out of prison.
Well, Bianna, there actually are two big questions now, big challenges for Casey Anthony. The first is to keep safe, and the second is, how can she profit off of this? Casey Anthony's new freedom could mean new riches.
Not guilty.
Telling the inside story of her daughter's death and her trial from the center of the storm, hitting the jackpot, turning her infamy into fortune. She's already been offered $1 million from an independent producer to tell that story, and that's just the first.
Between a combination of a book, maybe some sort of magazine article, TV interviews, and other ways of telling this monster story that she has, she'll probably be able to wrestle out of this about $1 million.
This would not be the only time notoriety transcends into wealth. After O.J. Simpson's 1997 acquittal for murder, he was given a $1 million publishing advance for his book, If I Did It, a first-person account of how the former football star could have carried out the slayings of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. Amy Fisher served 6 years in prison for the attempted murder of her lover's wife. Since her parole in 1999, she sold more than 32,000 copies of her book, If I Knew Then. She made a career in the adult film industry, and her struggles with alcoholism landed her a spot on VH1's reality series, Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew.
I'm trying. I'm really trying as hard as I can.
I get it. You're doing good. You're doing all right, okay?
After the Menendez brothers were sentenced to life in prison in 1996 for killing their parents, Eric's wife Tammy Menendez wrote a self-published book. They said we'd never make it, My Life with Eric Menendez. Some say the likelihood of Casey Anthony cashing in is high. Others are not so sure.
Some people may not want to touch Casey Anthony because they don't want her to profit from what they see as someone who got away with murder.
And for Casey Anthony, the difficult part is the two challenges she has actually conflict, trying to make money and also trying to keep low-key. Bianna?
And there's nothing low-key about the protests that we hear behind you. And Dan, you and I were talking about this morning. There's already a mother who's launching a protest on Facebook of any money that Casey could make from a book or movie deal.
Trying to stop her from profiting.
That's right.